Diamond Squad is your boy Jesimein, and look, man, I accidentally landed on Reddit. Man, I've never been a Reddit user, as you can see. I don't even have an account, but I just wanted to see what everybody's been talking about, what's been going on Reddit, and all this about the game. Everybody says I never speak up when I need to. I'm always Mr. Positive. I don't speak on things that are against the death or whatever, right? Everybody has what they want to say. But I couldn't help. I was scrolling through it and I couldn't help but catch this. I don't know what you call this post, sub post, whatever you guys call it on Reddit. Okay, the title is giving PVE players a PVE Dark Zone only improves PvP for the rest of us. Okay, so before I even get into what I mean, obviously what he's gonna explain himself, what he means. Um, let me address something. People are going crazy between PvE and PvP. They are combating two communities within the same game, head to head on stupid stuff, irrelevant stuff. PvP players complaining that PvE players don't want to PvP. Then you have PvE players complaining that the PvP zone or hybrid zone, which is the dark zone, should be PvE. So everybody's stepping into the other player's space, right? PvPers act like they should have a say so in PvEers contributing to PvP, and PvEers think that they can just take the rest of the game when they already have most of it. So we're gonna get into it. So let me read this. There's no harm in letting them farm the DZ without the threat of PvP. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to process that one because we'll get back to that. Not having PvE players in our DZs will make the PvP much more enjoyable. There is nothing fun about killing someone and taking their loot if they don't fight back and just leave the zone afterwards without trying to retaliate unless you're a troll, and I'm sure trolling is not what the devs intend for the zone. They want players to enjoy their game. Also, who cares if they get better DZ loot? It doesn't hurt us at all because they won't be PvPing, so them not having it won't affect us. First of all, bro, I have to, okay, I was going to read through this, but they won't be PvPing, so them having won't affect us at all, basically. PvEers will eventually, I mean, not all of them, but there are players who do both. And you're telling me there's a place where they can safely get the best loot and then go into PvP. What makes you think PvPers aren't going to do that? Which takes away from PvP grinding, right? But obviously, he's saying that if you separate it, it's going to change it. As if PvPers are not going to take advantage of the fact that it's easier to go in and get exactly what they need and then bring it into PvP. Thus killing the end that we have, which is the whole extraction, taking loot. Basically, you wouldn't need that if this was the case, but we'll get back to that. As for the PvPers who would exploit it, boom. I'm glad he addresses right as I said it. Again, I say so what? They get the same loot plan in the PvP DZ eventually, so there's no difference there. Yes, there is a difference, brother. The difference is if you are able to get the best, whatever in your head is the best loot in the most easiest, safest way, which is outside of PvP completely, right? Then you are killing the aspect of what the Dark Zone's looting system was all about to begin with. There is a hijack feature for a reason. There is a rogue feature for a reason. You saying who cares? I can tell this dude's primarily PvE because he's speaking on things he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm not saying, and I mean that in the most respectful way. Whoever this is, I don't even know what D-Mania. This is no insult to you. I'm just saying your logic is flawed. So PvP in the Dark Zone is regular, right? You shoot, whatever, fine. But it's not, the Dark Zone is not just going there and flag up. It's going there and battle for loot. Because if that was the case, if that wasn't the case, they wouldn't have anything go in your bag. There would be no point to extract. There would be no point for a hijack feature. There would be no point in to guard your rope. For fuck's sake, in the first trailer of Division 1, it literally showed a hijack happening. So the intention of this game in the Dark Zone is for there to be situations where your loot can get stolen. And I digress. Most people in the Dark Zone, if they have the opportunity and they're any form of PvPer, they will take it and steal the loot. Because that is the nature of the Dark Zone. Now, I'm not saying that it's completely irrational for people not to like that, because you don't have to like that. I'm pretty sure if if I'm a PvEer and I got my God roll chest piece I've been waiting for and then it got stolen, I'll be upset. I'll feel like all this time I spent grinding, it just got stolen. Yes, I understand that, but that is why there are methods to farm outside the Dark Zone. Now let's continue. They get the same loot playing in the PvP DZ eventually anyway, so there's no difference there. Either they're good at PvP and will get the gear just as fast while PvPing, or they're bad at PvP and the gear won't help them PvP better. Okay. Telling PvEers to get good or suck it up doesn't make sense. People should be able to play the entire game how they enjoy playing it. It'll be more fun for them and fun for us. I wonder, is this okay? I think he considers himself a PvPer because he says improves PvP for the rest of us. Okay, because he wouldn't say give us a Dark Zone, so he considers himself a PvPer. People should be able to play the entire game how they enjoy playing it. It'll be more fun for them and fun for us. The only people who lose are the trolls. Okay, so I think there's this misconception, and people draw a fine line between playing the Dark Zone how it should be played, which is nitty gritty and not fair, right? It's not meant, especially the occupied. And I think people confuse that with grief. Oh wait, it's kind of like a triple. It's like a triple line. On one end, you're just playing a game how you should, right? You go in a Dark Zone, you expect what's in the Dark Zone. It's a PvP hybrid. There's a lot of risk factor and all that, right? That's the Dark Zone. On the other hand, you can be a troll consider, right? You can just be a person to go in there and just annoy people, right? Just go in there and harass them and all that, which technically griefer. So I guess griefing and trolls are the same thing. So either you're playing the game how you should, or you're perceived as a troll. There is no in between. There is no people who just there is nothing in between, pretty much. So ultimately, most people see it as the other. They see it the people who are just trying to PvP in the Dark Zone, where you have the option, right? It's enabled for a reason. Okay, you are not wrong for wanting to take somebody's loot in the Dark Zone. You are not a troll. You are not a griefer. That is the Dark Zone. That is how it's going to be played. That's how it's meant to be. Okay. So for me, I'm getting worked up because this is so irritating. So, anyways, when it comes down to it, I get his concept. His concept is maybe if you filter out PvEers, nobody can cry, right? At that point, that since if you go in a Dark Zone, at that point, then you're a PvPer. No, dude, that's not how it's gonna work. You're splitting the player base based off of safety measures where people who already know what the Dark Zone can offer are trying to find a way to avoid it while getting the benefit. And I'm not okay with that. I know there's a trillion ways in this game to get loot. You don't even have to step in the Dark Zone. I promise you can get every piece of raid gear, every build you need, whatever, from anywhere. The only thing locked behind the Dark Zone is the Pestilence. Okay? Every single other exotic in the game is locked behind PvE. So, you're not losing on anything but the Pestilence. Okay? So, adding that and putting that in consideration, okay? People are saying they don't want to be they don't want to be forced to PvP. If I was to use that same logic as a PvPer, I would say, well, if that's the case, give us all of the exotics in the Dark Zone. We should be able to get every single exotic because I don't want to have to shoot at bots in order to get my exotics. So obviously that's a stupid logic. That's like, no, dude, if you want a certain exotic, you got to do everything necessary, right? You got to go through the invaded missions. You got to have the time lock, and you got to make sure you do this, that, and that. And I have to go through all that to get it. But the players who can't get certain gear in the Dark Zone want to avoid full PvP, which is a threat, right? It's a thing you have to get past, and it's not even 100% all the time. It's not even like it's not even like you're PvPing every second you step into DZ. It's just a chance, and there's so many ways to avoid it, right? You have normalized, where you have freaking turrets that protect you if you feel pressured. There is an occupied one that should obviously take some of the sweats out of the normalization, right? Naturally, because that's where the hardcore people are, right? If you are an occupied DZ, and because you know the loot drops there are better, you better expect to get shot at by another player. There is no question. Bro, there's 2 Dark Zones that are normalized, which are basically considered PvE ones to me. Yes, you can still PvP, but there's a flag system. There's a freaking turret system. You get warned. You're okay in the normalized. I don't see anything wrong with normalized. And your gear, if even if you're not a god tier PvP player, your gear is normalized to be good enough to combat and defend yourself. So I disagree. Giving PvE players a PvE Dark Zone is one. I mean, and people love arguing this with me. Well, you're just saying that because you guys need farmers in order to shoot. Yes, that is how the game is. That's how it is. There's gonna be innocents and there's gonna be bad guys. You can't be a villain without having good guys, right? It's better for a bunch of innocent farmers to band together to take out the rogue team or something, or a bunch of farmers in a server. You guys have done it for 3 years in Division 1. It shouldn't be a problem now. So, yes, 100%. People keep dodging this. Yes, the Dark Zone needs farmers. It needs casuals. It needs every type of player to change situations, to keep it fresh. If it's nothing but PvPers, then you'll never get genuine moments where, oh, if you went up to somebody, maybe they want to help you farm. Maybe you guys can band together and make a freaking 8-man group and go farm or something. If it's just two groups of farmer people, you guys meet up, you guys can talk because it's normalization. You're able to have your voice. Hey, you guys want to speed run these? Those situations will never happen if you just filter PvE and PvP. Because then when you go into Dark Zone, what do you have to worry about? It's just like logging into a mission. And I think for me, that sounds hella boring. The Dark Zone should be like, damn, like, what could happen? Like, damn, oh, I got this god roll. Hey, my teammates, we got to band together. We got to get this out. That adds a layer of fun, a layer of freshness on the game, and stop making it, instead of making it so stale where you just know, oh, I got this piece. I know for sure I'm getting out of here. And not only that, in the Dark Zone, you get non-contaminated items anyway. So it's not even like most of your gear, it almost feels like goes straight to your backpack anyways. Sure, you may get shot at and you may die. Boo-hoo. Respawn, you lose nothing but a Dark Zone level that you don't care about to begin with because you're not even a PvPer. And I mean, there's nothing really in it for either PvP or PvE to begin with besides caches. So, honestly, I'm not one of these people because people can't argue with me and say, oh, you're the person that says tell people to get. I'm not saying get good or suck it up. I'm saying understand that is how the Dark Zone was designed. And crying about it to the point where you want to neuter it to PvE only, changing the core concept of what it was designed for 3 years ago, I'm not standing behind that. Okay? I don't care if you feel like you're feeling missing game. You have most of the game. 80-90% of the game is PvE. You have conflict and you have Dark Zone. You have bounties. You have missions, invaded missions, open world activities. You have all of that, including with leveling up, including with side missions, and including with little little pop-up things and control points. All those stuff, you have that. So giving them where did he say right there? Where he said something about loot. I don't even know where it is. Well, basically what he was saying is like they should be able to go in there and okay, there's nothing fun about killing someone and take their loot if they don't fight back and just leave the zone afterwards without trying to retaliate unless you're a troll. Dude, they can leave, probably leaving smarter. If they leave, they probably don't want to be there. They leave and go farm and get exactly what they're looking for to begin with. They chose to enter the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone specifically states that it's going to be dangerous. It's going to have rogues. It's going to have people who are going to shoot at you. That is the Dark Zone. Stop trying to change it to something it's not. Be grateful that you have most of the game and it's not reverse. I get it. You want to have our 3 Dark Zone. I'm going to say our because we are PvPers. We are in the Dark Zone. That is where most PvPers spend their time. Occupied to be exact. You have an option to avoid PvP. You don't have to PvP. Conflict does not give you anything special. The Dark Zone does not give you anything special besides the Pestilence. So for you to go in there, you are accepting the fact that you can get shot at. So don't go in there and cry when somebody takes your loot. That is the Dark Zone. So if you guys wanted a fair, like I'm being fair. I'm not even being mean to PvEers. I'm not saying you guys are mad. I'm just saying realistically, dude, like PvPers are just as important as you guys. We may not be the majority. We may not have the most influence, but really realize if you guys took the Dark Zone away, and I'm not saying take them all away, even if you took one away, that concept is you're spreading more and more PvE influence on PvP that we barely have to begin with. You can see where that's a problem. Because I promise you, if they added, I don't know, let's just say the invaded missions. Let's say something so small, right? Let's say on invaded missions, another team can queue up and you guys can fight for it. You guys would go ape shit over just invasions. One out of all the activities you can do, just invaded missions. Something minute, one that you probably farm once and bounce. People would cry storms if PvPers can infiltrate that. So imagine you infiltrating the main PvP segment, which is the Dark Zone. Yes, we have 3 Dark Zones. You have an entire map. And I'm not saying that I don't understand that there could be a concept where maybe if they felt they had to, they can make one of the Dark Zones PvE, one normalized and one occupied. That's the most, let's say we have to be 100% fair, right? Can't have all the Dark Zones. Even that alone would be a bad statement to the PvP community because it takes away the one benefit we have. When they announced that 515 gear was going to be Dark Zone only, PvEers went on a fucking storm and got that changed to the, or I don't know, I'm pretty sure that it wasn't going to be the case anyways, but they said there will be other methods to get 515 gear. Now, you're telling me if there's other methods to get 515 gear and you still choose to go in the Dark Zone, I don't have the right to take your loot if you come in? I'm griefing you because I'm playing how the Dark Zone's meant to be played? Yes, you're going to get fucking ganked. Yes, there's going to be times where you body and you get body. Yes, there's going to be times where you got your God Roll item and you get it out and it feels good. Yes, there's going to be times where you get the God Roll item in your bag and something happens where you're solo and 4 people come and they'll take your shit and extract it and you can't do nothing about it. That is the Dark Zone. And because that can happen and it might not happen, it can happen twice in one day, it can happen 15 times a day, it can happen not once for a month, who knows? That's what keeps the Dark Zone different, and that's the only thing in the game that's alive. That you can get a different experience every single day, and without that, ultimately, when you PvEers get bored, whenever it is, right? Ultimately, PvEers get bored with a game. It's inevitable. Okay, Division 1 proved that. Division 1 was a phenomenal PvE game. PvEers fell off. Once you can only run the same mission so many times and max out your gear and not use it for anything but shooting NPCs before you guys get bored. Which is why I'm pretty sure the developers are keeping the Dark Zone as is because they know Division 1 proved it, dude. The last year of Division 1 was mostly PvPers. It was. And this is me, like I'm speaking it. Here you guys wanted me to hear the truth. This is the truth. And yes, PvEers did play the game. No shit. We know this. But the majority in Division 1 at the end, every stream you walked into was Dark Zone. It was a Dark Zone stream. PvPing, server fights, 4v4s, all that stuff. Even though it was toxic as hell, and nobody's saying it wasn't. It was definitely toxic. It was still PvP in the Dark Zone. Because at the end game, fast forward another year and a half, when we max out all of our gear, the last thing to gravitate to, the true end game, is going to be either raids or PvP. And you can only run a raid so many times before you're done. Just like Destiny. That's why the Crucible was so popular. People gravitated once they mastered the PvE segment. You can only speed run and do this so many times. Yeah, I mean, granted, Division 2 is doing a phenomenal job with changing that and keeping it fresh, and I would hope they do that. I love the PvE in this game, so I want them to keep it fresh. I would rather them keep it just as fresh as the Dark Zone if they can find some way, but ultimately, that's just not how gaming works. So for me, what it comes down to is the Dark Zone will, in my opinion, will never, ever be PvE only. Give it up, okay? Either you have 2 options. Either, I'm going to use his word, either you suck it up and go in there and say, look, man, anything can happen. Hopefully it doesn't. I'd rather it not. If you're a PvEer, I'd rather it not. But if it does, I'm bouncing. Or, dude, you just go balls out. You know what I'm saying? And stay away. Simple. Balls out against PvP. I'm never doing it. So what it comes down to and how I feel revolving around this concept of the Dark Zone being a PvE, it's never going to happen. It shouldn't happen. And I would actually, like me, okay, this is Jesimein talking. I would be personally upset if they were to take a Dark Zone and turn it PvE only. Me personally. And I'm super passive. I just feel like, dude, they'll live without you can lock, yo, bro. I promise you, if the Dark Zones disappeared right now, all 3 Dark Zones disappeared. Let's say it became its own standalone game. You can't access it unless you're just a PvPer. PvEers, their game experience will not change at all. It wouldn't. It would not at all, in no way, shape, or form. But you take away one of our Dark Zones and you make it strictly PvE only, that's out of 3 things, bro. That's 25% of our PvP option gone. PvPers will get hit 10 times harder than PvEers would. And that's how I feel about it. So the Dark Zone will never, ever, 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 ever be PvE only. I'm not saying it's not a great idea or anything. I'm not shitting on him or anything. I'm just speaking my mind. Realistically, why people are confusing the Dark Zone with the Light Zone. The Dark Zone was made for PvP. You bought a freaking apple pie and you're trying to change it into a raspberry pie because you don't like apple pie. No, dude, you can't do it. It's impossible. The Dark Zone was designed for PvP. Okay, and that's how it's gonna be. Maybe you guys can get some new zones. Maybe they're called, I don't know, agent zones that are like Dark Zones, but for PvEers, sure. But the Dark Zones that we currently have will always remain PvP, in my opinion, and that's that. So let me know what y'all think below. This is actually a super serious topic for me because, bro, I'm so tired of seeing the debates in my comments. You guys don't people who side with me, don't even waste your breath. You feel me? And people who are against what I'm saying, I respect you. I hear you. I just have to respectfully disagree on all points revolving around making the Dark Zones PvE. So let me know what y'all think. Drop a comment, hit a like. You know what I'm saying? And if you are one of the people who are just like, bro, I don't even care. I just have fun either way. That's that. I love you, dude. You are the best kind of gamer. The best kind of gamers are the one who take it for what it is, choose whether they like it or not, and press on. Not cry about something that they want to have control on when they don't have to. And I'm not saying PvEers doing that. I'm just speaking general because I don't want people to put words in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? So Reddit sucks. I love y'all. It's been real. Your boy is out.